The driver was sweating as his white Kia pickup truck drove along a rain-slicked Baghdad highway toward a district packed with open-air marketplaces. His heart rate kept on increasing with each shock and spin, as he was carrying 1,100 pounds of military-grade explosives hidden in the truck's chassis by the Islamic State, targeting Iraq's capital. Watch the video till the end as we tell you the story of an ISIS spy who saved Baghdad from 30 terrorist bombings. The Falcons and ISIS. The Islamic State, also known as Daesh or ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, arose from the ashes of al-Qaeda in Iraq around 2004. After the surge of U.S. soldiers to Iraq in 2007, ISIS went into hiding for the following 4 years. However, in 2011, the organization began to resurface again. This time it used the developing instability in Iraq and Syria to carry out assaults and build its ranks during the next few years. The organization's power started to grow considerably, and they controlled a good part of Iraq. Looking at the increasing violence and ISIS power, Iraq's authorities decided to develop a counter-terrorism intelligence outfit, which was named the Falcon Intelligence Cell. This was the most vital institution on the front lines of the war against terrorism that almost no one knew about. The Falcons planted a few spies among the ranks of the Islamic State, which was little known outside of the highest levels of Iraqi and allied intelligence organizations. Its intelligence assisted in the expulsion of extremists from their final urban strongholds. According to Iraqi officials, the Falcons have prevented hundreds of attacks on Baghdad, making it the safest it's been in 15 years. By infiltrating the Islamic State cells, murdering its commanders and terrorists, and destroying their weapons. Capt. Sudani. This story is all about one of Falcon's pivotal members and an undercover spy named Captain Harith al-Sudani. Very few people in Sudani's life thought he had the courage to be a spy. He was so underestimated that even his father, Abid al-Sudani, a severe disciplinarian, insisted on his eldest son's complete compliance and forced him to work in his tiny print business after school. Even his Baghdad University teachers failed him. Intoxicated by the liberties of college life, Harith squandered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity by ignoring his studies and pursuing women. As a result, his father issued him an ultimatum: either get a grip or leave the family home. This was a turning point for him since he was frustrated that he couldn't live his life the way he wanted. Mr. Sudani settled into an arranged marriage and went back to school, where he studied English and then Russian. He got a small job in Iraq's oil infrastructure, overseeing surveillance systems. At the same time, Iraq was being torn apart by near-daily terrorist attacks. These attacks ended up giving Harith Sudani a chance and a mission to make something of his life. Joining the Falcons. Mr. Basri, then the intelligence director in the Prime Minister's office, created a special unit with a specific mission: to target terrorist leadership ranks, as the government and American occupation forces tried to quell the insurgency in post-Saddam Iraq. He enlisted the help of 16 Iraqi elite military groups and police academies in 2006. Munaf Sudani, who was Sudani's brother, was an early recruit in the counterterrorism group. Munaf came home from work filled with energy, whereas Harith was bored with his job and spent most evenings playing video games or hanging around in tea shops. Munaf encouraged his brother to apply, claiming that his computer and language skills would make him a desirable candidate for the people he worked for. Harith eventually listened to his brother, and in 2013, he was offered a job monitoring terrorism suspects' computer traffic and phone calls. Coming of age. After the Islamic State conquered significant portions of Iraq and Syria and declared it a Muslim caliphate, the Falcons took on a new mission: using covert agents to infiltrate ISIS. This was the time when Sudani stepped forward to help. General Saad al-Fali, his superior officer, said in an interview that Sudani was inspired by photographs of children slain in Islamic State attacks. As a result of his valor, he was promoted to captain, and he began jihadist training. It was quite evident that Captain Sudani's skill to imitate a Ramadi dialect would help him gain trust among the ISIS group. However, Harith Sudani was unfamiliar with Sunni rites and prayer because he was a Shiite. So he studied the Quran, memorizing jihadist-favored verses and learning the jihadist chants for prayer and murdering. Furthermore, under Saddam Hussein's dictatorship, Iran was dominated by the Sunni minority. At that time, the Sudani family was living in Ramadi, which was also Iraq's Sunni Muslim stronghold. After his training, Sudani was given a new identity with the name of Abu Suhaib, who was a jobless man from Baghdad's mostly Sunni area. His aim was to infiltrate a prominent Islamic State hideout in Tarmiya, a village near the crossroads of two motorways that served as a staging area for suicide bombers on their approach to the capital. After a few days, Captain Sudani entered a mosque in Tarmiya, where the local Islamic State cell was rumored to organize meetings. He stayed indoors for the entire day, much longer than he and his superiors had anticipated. Munaf, along with a member of the surveillance team, were continuously watching him in order to avert anything that could go wrong. After a few hours, Munaf noticed his brother's loping shadow approaching the predetermined exfiltration point. Captain Sudani reported that the operation had gone well and that Abu Suhaib had been welcomed into the ISIS cell. He is now returning to Tarmiya to live with them. A pivotal role. His initial days with the Islamic State were spent receiving religious and explosives training. A senior state officer in Mosul called Abu Suhaib a few weeks later and gave him a crucial role in the logistics chain for suicide bombing missions in Baghdad. It was the Falcon's stroke of luck that the ISIS deemed Sudani as an important person in getting bombers past checkpoints on the outskirts of Baghdad and inside the city, as they believed him to be a Baghdad local. In weekly phone calls, Mosul would direct Captain Sudani to meet suicide bombers arriving in Tarmiya from Islamic State-controlled territory to pick up a vehicle bomb. After hearing about all the details, Sudani would notify the Falcons each time in complete secrecy. The Falcons' job was then to stop ISIS and their lethal parcels from reaching Baghdad. As they already knew the plan, it was quite easy for them as Captain Sudani was always pursued by a chase car, which would use jamming equipment to disrupt the signal to the bomb's detonator, which is generally activated remotely by a cell phone. Then Sudani's friends asked him to take a route where they could disable the device via phone or hand signals. After successfully disarming the bomb, Falcons would then manufacture false explosions and issue fake news releases, claiming heavy casualties in the process of keeping Captain Sudani's cover intact. These activities of the Falcons were critical in shifting the tide of the American-led coalition's fight against the Islamic State. 7 prominent Islamic State leaders were killed as a result of its intelligence, and scores of coalition bombings were guided by it. His long, unexplained absences from home exacerbated family tensions. His secret life was known only to his father and mother. Raghad Chalub, his wife, believed he was neglecting her and their 3 children. Despite this, the strong-willed Sudani chose to carry on with his mission. Captain Sudani's chances of being discovered were also increasing as he worked underground for longer periods of time. Captain Sudani's Mosul superiors had upped his responsibilities, directing him to examine Baghdad neighborhoods and cafes for suitable attack targets. On one of these missions, he attempted to sneak home for a rare visit. His Islamic State leader called him while he was there, demanding to know where he was, and Captain Sudani lied and said that he was in the target area. The start of Sudani's end. Now the group was losing momentum militarily in Syria and was battling to hang on to Mosul. As a reaction, they wanted to carry out more and larger terrorist assaults, announcing their continuous significance by stirring mayhem all across the world. The group drove a tractor-trailer through a Berlin Christmas market on December 19th, killing 12 people and injuring hundreds more. The Mosul commander informed Captain Sudani on December 31st that he had been picked to take part in a spectacular New Year's Eve attack, a series of coordinated explosions in different locations around the world. Captain Sudani found the white Kia in the Al-Qadra district on Baghdad's eastern outskirts. He called the Falcons, as usual, to discuss where they would intercept him. As soon as he pulled off the city's main crosstown highway toward the Falcons' safe house, the plan began to crumble. His phone began to ring, and it was Mosul who was calling to inquire about his whereabouts. Captain Sudani told the caller that he was on his way to the intended destination. The handler said that "You are lying," upon which Captain Sudani was feverishly trying to come up with an excuse. He admitted to Mosul that he had taken a false route. He called his Falcons' comrades, concerned, and told them they needed to meet significantly closer to the designated attack site. Munaf directed his brother to the new meeting location using hand signals. The device was dismantled by 8 agents. The electronic detonator, 26 plastic bags of C4, ammonium nitrate, and ball bearings were all retrieved from the vehicle's chassis and door panels. Captain Sudani was back on the road to the market in minutes, parking the pickup where it was supposed to be. And then came the fake news about a white truck that detonated outside Al-Beda Cinema in Baghdad al-Jedediah just before midnight on New Year's Eve. The last ride. The mission of Captain Sudani, according to him and Falcons, was a success. However, he had no idea that the Islamic State had hidden 2 bugs in the truck, allowing the terrorists to listen in on his whole talk with the Falcons. Captain Sudani was summoned by the Islamic State for a new assignment in early January 2017. Sudani was now relocated to a farmhouse outside of Tarmiya. It was too far away to be monitored, and there was no quick way out. Munaf warned him not to take any chances, claiming that the change in procedure was suspicious. But Captain Sudani still made the decision to leave. He entered the farmhouse on the morning of January 17th, never to be seen again. As Tarmiya was an Islamic State stronghold, Iraqi security forces had to plan and execute a rescue operation which took 3 days. The farmhouse was invaded by a combined army and police force, in which one Iraqi officer was killed by ISIS. However, Captain Sudani was nowhere to be found when the building was cleaned. The Falcons gathered evidence for 6 months, but with no proper leads. Then the Islamic State produced a propaganda video in August, which showed inmates who were blindfolded and brutally murdered. According to the Falcons, Captain Sudani was one of them. In view of his services to the country, Iraq's Joint Operations Command issued a statement expressing gratitude for his service to the country. Well, that's it for today's video. If you found this video helpful, then make sure to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of the amazing and informative videos we have in store for you.